Welcome to another session of Nanotech Game Dev Stuff.
Hello, welcome back to another continuation on the module series and how we can structure this type of code for complex projects. So this does not apply just to the RTS, but also to other projects as well. So my search for modules started because I wanted unique behaviors from units. And how can you do that through code? Let's start with a unit or building, and you can start by defining what it is. So by defining it as something, we can start using some class inheritance logic to define it as an economy, defensive, or factory. So this is going to mean that this building or unit is something. And you're going to run into a problem if you want to join together two of those things and say you want a tower and a storage building, because those are different things on your class inheritance. And you cannot do that because that's multiple inheritance and Godot does not support it. So let's change our approach to it has something. So our object is going to have something. And this something is going to be called attributes, so it's going to have some components here. So that means our object has some attributes, so it has something, which is different than it is something. So this allows you to have two different things and be called a third one. So here we can mix together in economy and defensive components to generate a tower and storage building, which is not an inheritance factor, so no problems here. So here we are just taking two different attributes to create another behavior for our object, which in this case is a tower and storage building. You can see why this is going to be useful. It allows you to do just that. So what are attributes? Attributes are a type of data that you can store on CSV or JSON. And if you watch our previous videos on game data, you see that I did a complete system for this kind of thing. So attributes are going to be your unit names, HP, damage amounts, defense values and types, movement speed, that kind of thing. So stuff that is used for almost all units, but you can change very easily through a management software like a spreadsheet program, just like I did on the game data series. And here's another thing, we can use modules as attributes. This means that our units are going to have multiple modules to run at once. That is going to allow us to generate the behaviors we want to make units. So pretty useful stuff. Let's continue. We're talking about object attributes, where we should store them. The idea here is to store all those attributes inside a dictionary variable, which can be edited and accessed at any time. So let's talk about managing attributes. So attributes should not be deleted by any occasion. This can cause modules or object functions to not execute properly. And we should handle our attributes as simple variable definition, which is much more easy than creating individual variables for the script. Also, here's a nice thing, any errors you get from missing attributes can pinpoint you to modules that do not start at the right properties, or that objects don't have those properties, so it's a great way to find missing modules or variables that is not stored on the object data. Oh, also something to keep in mind that is storing attribute variable names as a module separately. Because we are going to have a lot of different attributes, it's a nicer way if you keep that inside the module separately from all the stuff. So here's an example, you can put attributes as enumerations, and then later you can access them using a preload here, just an example, and you can see here attributes.hp. So that is one of the ways you can do this. And here actually the attributes.hp is going to be converted to 0, so we know that on object data 0 is equal to HP. And you can also guess how this is going to be useful whenever you try to import the data from the JSON CSV files. You can put integers in there and correspond them with the module attributes later. So it's pretty interesting stuff. What are exactly modules? Modules are static scripts that executes an action. So modules cannot have any variables you store them inside unless they are statically defined, which means they are not that useful, so you shouldn't have any variables inside at all. And any variables you want to have access, you should be fed them through arguments. So you can see on the example that our user is an object fed as argument to the module requirements. So we can later check if that object has the requirements to use this module, something you can do for every module if you want it. Here's another example with the module healer and the unit repairer, and you can see how that looks like. You want to access a target in a user object, and you can see how that is fed to the function as arguments. Let's talk about organizing and running the modules. So you can create a module list, which is a module itself, and it's going to list all the modules as enumerations, so we can organize them, and you can also preload all the scripts on an array that we can use later. Now here, let's say we have an index, so we preload the list of modules we want, which is the module list, and we can have a object data variable, which is going to hold the data for modules and objects. Now here on the ready function, we can run any functions we want from those modules, And if any of those modules don't have that function, it's going to throw an error, which is going to allow you to detect which modules don't have this starting function, which is a nice way to find it. Here's another example of how you can run a function for all of the modules. Here on the physics process function, you can see that by accessing each module and asking for that function, you can actually pass the physics process to all your other modules. They can perform actions on your unit X here, which is pretty nice. So what is a module conceptually? It is a script that executes function and organizes code, can be attached to any object, script, or module, does not store any variables or data. That's part of the attributes, not of the modules. What is another module in the engine? It's a simple script that extends from fcounted, and here's an example. Well, how do you give an object data to a module? Well, you can pass through function arguments, just like here. You can change the name of an object by feeding through the function here as an object for the first argument, and the second argument is going to be the new name, so you can simply edit its name. But why go through the trouble to segment and abstract all this script code into smaller blocks? Well, it allows you to organize in a way that makes it easier to expand your code or maintain it. Because each module does something very specific, it's very easy for you to read through it or edit anything you want. It also makes modules to be encapsulated to do something very specific, which is pretty nice. But why not use nodes to do this? Because it gives you more performance than one individual node instance, and I give more details about this on the first video I talk about modules, and you can watch for it there. So when you want to use modules? Well, when you cannot solve issues with just attribute variables, or when you want unique behaviors out of the structure of the standard of that object. So let's give an example here. Say you want hero abilities. That code should not be inside of all the units. They should be separate to only hero units you want. So the idea is for you to create a module with just hero abilities, and you can later plug them. And if you have a lot of hero abilities, then maybe each ability can be a module by itself. Also for unit behaviors, let's say you want to do something very different than on what the structure of an object already does. You can extend that by using a module. And also let's see if you have too much code inside an object and you want to split that up. So let's say you have a complex camera system coded in a script and you want to detach that from the player. You can separate that into a module by itself, which is going to make your code much easier to read and maintain it. And also the idea of modules is to keep everything modular, which means that you want to keep reusable code blocks, which makes your work a lot easier to maintain, edit, and use it. So let's see a practical use case for the modules. So modules are an abstract concept which is basically code blocks, so you need to adapt them to whatever you need. And here we have an example. We want a worker unit in our game, and he is a gatherer, hunter, and a repairer. We also want a repair tower in the game, which is only a repairer and a mechanic, and we want a hero in the game, which is a gatherer and a hunter. So we can actually do all of this inside a single script, but as you may have guessed, the script is going to bloat with a lot of ifs, and probably the performance will also be worse. So the idea here is for you to create modules for every one of those, and later just insert them inside the units to create the behaviors you want. You can see how modules are quite useful. So attributes are things an object is or have. Attributes are also the dictionary variables we are going to insert on object data. And our attributes are also part of the object structure shared by default. So things like unit names, HP, attack values, defense values, most of the units will have those attributes. But that is not an obligation. We can differ structures for each object we need. So modular are things that an object can do, so more like actions. And they are also our scripts with static functions. And they are also our modular code that objects can execute. So modules are pretty abstract. They're basically extended smaller script portions that you can apply to various objects. And you have to make sure that they are modular by nature, so they can work with any object that you want to attach to it. Of course, they're going to have their own requirements, but basically the idea is once you attach it, it should work out of the box. And with attributes, you can define what an object is, and with modules, you can define what they can do. The idea is to combine those to create a RTS unit prefab, which basically are the final units you're going to see in the game, just like a soldier or a worker. And you can see here you can define the attributes and modules differently as you need them. So that's the idea of using modules. You can see how modules are quite useful, not just for the RTS project, for many other projects you want unique behaviors for units. That's one of the ways you can do it. So the idea presented here are going to be applied to my project, and I'm going to be sharing with you guys the results I'm going to have.
So hopefully you found this useful. That's all I have for you guys. I'll see you on the next one.